Good afternoon, Harry Rahman, the founder of Veloce Innovation. Today's Super Thursday. And we're going to be talking about a topic that is easily confused. It has so many meanings, it can be underinterpreted, it really needs its own focus, and the topic is branding. So we're going to talk about what does branding mean to a window film business, right? And the second thing we're also going to talk about is what are some of the do's and don'ts that you should look for in creating a brand in your window film business. So before we go into our topic of the day, which is branding, I want to just thank Eric Devash and Patrick Fransko. Eric is with TintWiz and Patrick is with iMagnet Marketing for the video we did at SEMA. And if you all have not seen that video, you can connect to Veloce Innovation on our Facebook page, or you can also connect to my account, which is Harry Rahman, and see it on there. It's a long video. It's about an hour, so embrace yourself. You may have to eat it in bite-sized 15-minute pieces and so forth. The topic was, how is technology affecting products, marketing, and sales? And Patrick, Eric, and I sat at my room at Caesars and discussed some of the things that are taking place already and are going to continue to take place. So moving back forward, we are now back at our topic of the day, which is branding. So the question is, what is a brand, right? We often think it can be just a logo. It could be our name. It could be us, right? There are many different ways to look at your brand. Now, what makes branding in a window film retailer or dealer business more difficult? It's not like a restaurant, right, where people keep coming back and having the same experience or similar experiences. You know, one of the great brands that I've traveled across the US and eaten at and I just love is P.F. Chang's. And I can go to a P.F. Chang's in Seattle or Miami or New York or Los Angeles and get is very, very standard. So branding for a P.F. Chang's is very different. We are in a little bit more of a transactional business. Now, yes, in the automotive world, we do multiple cars for the same customer, but in the architectural world, so how do we create a brand? And what is a brand? What does it mean to your business? So our focus today is going to be, how do we build a brand? Now, some of you have been in business for over 25 years and have built a brand, right? And some of you have been in business for less than 10 years and are continuing to build a brand. So one of the things that I want you to think about is, I want you to erase the things that you have done, whether it's the logo or even the name, right? Look, at the end of the day, because we're a transactional business, your name doesn't mean as much as it would in a repeat business like a restaurant with a P.F. Chang's. I'm not saying do away with it. I'm saying I want you to look at it with a fresh approach. Simply put, your brand is your promise. It's the promise that you make to a customer. It's the promise that you make to an employee. So it's the experience thereof. It's not just your logo. You can have the best logo in the world, and if a customer walks in and walks out and doesn't have a great experience, your brand is what they left with. It's not your logo, it's the experience that they left with. So the question is, how can you build a brand, right? So first thing you have to do is you have to build your company's mission, right? You want to start off with a mission. Now, I know some of this may be where you're thinking, look, I've got $1 million business or $500,000 or a $10 million business. Why do I need to do this? Look, brands are valued. And I want you guys to understand that, right? Brands are valued. A lot of people make, and I'm going to go into a couple of do's and don'ts, more on the don'ts side, and then I'll come back to the do's. A lot of people build their brand around somebody else's brand, right? So I get these business cards that say solar tint, and that's all it says, but it's got a bunch of logos on it for different manufacturers of film, and they're selling their brand based on somebody else's brand. It's not something negative. It's not something you should not do, but you should build your own brand. Your company is going to be valued on solar tint. It's not going to be valued on brand X, Y, or Z, right? That's the first thing, is that build your brand. That doesn't mean you can't co-brand, but don't focus too heavily on it. There are certain dealers I've seen that they will have a big logo of the brand before they even talk about themselves, an authorized X, Y, and Z dealer. Well, that's fine, nothing wrong with that, but I want you guys to focus in on your brand, because guess what? That brand is what you're using today. It may not be what you're using tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So keep that in mind. If you build it around somebody else's brand entirely or focused on, and you lose that, you have lost your brand identity, right? The second thing is that promoting a brand that is sold to multiple people in a given area means that you're opening as many doors for them as they are for yourself. So if I am Solar Tint and I carry brand X, right? And there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 other dealers in the area. Every time I hand my card out, I am creating brand value for the brand manufacturer, right? Especially if it's something that's not exclusive to me or that is restricted to a certain number of people, right? So that's the second thing. So first thing is build on your brand value. Second is that don't mass market a brand and don't build your brand around somebody else's brand that is mass marketed as well. So those are the don'ts. Now I'm going to talk about the do's. There are a lot of things that you should consider. Again, don't worry about how long you've been in business, but I want you to start off with 3 or 4 things, and then I'll give you some details on that. First thing I want you to think about is, what is your company's mission? Jot it down. Put it on a piece of paper. What is your company's mission? And by the way, I don't want you to come up with this all by yourself. If you've got a spouse that's involved in the business, get her involved or get him involved. If you've got employees, get them involved. If you've got customers, if you've got regular customers that have done business with you, try to find out why did they do business with you, because that in itself is your brand, not your logo, not just your website. It's why they called you to begin with. So first thing is, write down your mission statement. Second thing is, write down the benefits and features of your products. Now, trust me, this may seem very simple, heat reduction, fading reduction, and so forth. No, I want you to think deeper into why those customers called you. And so write down features that meant something to them. The third thing is, why do your prospects call you? Why do people who have not done business with you, or why do people who have you went and made a bid to that didn't do business with you, why did they call you and why did they not buy from you, right? So that you have to think about, what is my brand offering and why did they not purchase it? Was it the brand? Was it the product? Was it the features and so forth? The last thing is, how do people perceive your company? The reality is what I view of Veloce is not my brand. What you view of Veloce is my brand. What my employees view, the way they view it, my team, is what Veloce is. So you talk to a Carol Lockwood, how she sees Veloce is what Veloce truly is. If you talk to Jason in Pennsylvania, Jason Thomas, he will tell you what our brand is. If you talk to Matt at Naples Tint, Matt Santier, he will tell you. If you talk to Jeremy in the Tampa area, these are the people that define my brand, and your customers define your brand. So the next thing I want you to do is look at your logo. Okay, don't be afraid to modernize that logo. We are in a transactional industry. You are your brand. So don't worry about changing the brand, changing the logo. Look at Pepsi. Go and do a Google search on Pepsi and the different reiterations of the logo that it's had over time, and you'll be surprised from where it started. So don't be afraid to modernize your logo if you need to do that, right? So start up with that stuff. Second thing is come up with a tagline, right? So come up with a tagline that helps define your competitive edge, who you are, what makes your business and what makes your brand. So come up with a tagline. Again, don't have to do this by yourself. Get a spouse, get your team, whoever else that you need to as well. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to be able to create a brand message, right? So think about, so that tagline is just a line that goes with your logo or stuff or something, but I want you to come up with a brand message. Okay, so Solar Tint, and I'm picking up Solar Tint because I used to have a dealer back in the days who was very good at branding, and it reminded me of him. So Solar Tint is, think about your brand promise. What does your company promise? When you walk into a home, what can people expect? When you're doing their car, what are the 3, 4, 5, 6 things that they can expect from you? The next thing I want you to do is I want you to live these values of your brand. I don't want you to just put them on a piece of paper. Apply them to your personal life. Apply them to your business life. Apply them to your team. Apply them to every piece of your lifestyle, and be consistent about it. Be very consistent about your brand. But again, keep in mind that you're building your brand to potentially one day exit. You may want to sell your business. If you are a brand X, Y, or Z dealer, and that is what you are known as, and that's what your brand is known as primarily, your brand valuation is going to be dependent on the valuation of that other brand and how exclusive you are to it, or how many other people sell it, how easy it is to get that brand, right? So you want your brand valuation to be based on the values that you have. So those are some of the things I wanted to talk to you about, but remember, be consistent, and every message that goes out, if there's an ad that's going out in a magazine, it needs to reflect your brand values. If there's a video that you're putting out on YouTube or to your customers, those values, that's your competitive edge. It's kind of like your DNA. Each one of us has a very, very specific DNA, right? So that's what makes us us. You should have a DNA for, and by the way, one t-shirt for anybody that knows what DNA is, deoxyribonucleic acid. That's about the only thing I learned from my biology class in school, but that's what makes you, you, right? So your company, when people think about it, you have to have a competitive edge on why they want to do business with you rather than your competitors. There's something that you have to have in you. So, Super Thursday, here we are. Thank you, everybody, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks. And again, love some feedback. Thank you. I know I've been getting a lot of feedback on positive feedback on the $0 budget, and for our dealer meeting, our annual dealer meeting, our first ever dealer meeting at our 1-year anniversary, we will be focusing on that $0 budget program and helping you build a $0 budget plan for your business for the next year. So keep up the branding. Talk to you soon. Thank you.